Uh, I believe he had some prior obligations, sadly.
All right.
But I will do my best to summarize and answer any questions.
We'll call the meeting to order at 5:33. So a motion to approve the minutes from January 13th.
I'll make a motion.
Kevin, second. Carrie, any other discussion on them? All those in favor? Vote. Okay. So the whole purpose of tonight was to kind of come back and look at Silver's proposal for the next steps as we start to go through this. So I don't know if you want to run us through it, Eric, if that's the easiest thing.
Yeah, no problem. I can go ahead and run you through it. Honestly, I feel like Dave did a pretty good job summarizing it and wording it. It's fairly self-explanatory. So this first section up at the top here that's labeled schematic design is essentially covering everything that we have accomplished so far. So that is the evaluation of the existing station, design and construction of the new one, and evaluation of existing sites and other sites that were in review and were potentially a possibility. So as it says here, the committee has concluded that the demolition and construction of a new station is the best option, hence why the updated proposal, of course, because as you can see, it used to be referred to as the, or I guess still technically is, as a renovation. So with that being said, the phase that follows schematic design is design development. And this phase is extremely important because this is where we start to, once we have our design from schematic design, this is where we start to really narrow in and zoom in a little bit and get a little bit more detailed on certain inner aspects of the building. You know, it's kind of, it says in here a 50% level of completeness. So with that, we don't quite dive into necessarily how the envelope completely comes together, but we start to think about it. We start to think about maybe some different products that we want to go into the building. Another really important aspect of that is, as it says right here, these plans and outline specifications can be used by your designated construction manager or professional, excuse me, or professional estimator to establish an order of magnitude construction. So it's really a good halfway mark to see how the project's shaping up with regards to budget. So with that being said, in addition to that, our team will also provide assistance to helping you file for federal grants and bonding acquisitions, that type of thing. We'll help out with that paperwork. In addition to that, that's also kind of where we start to narrow down a lot of the different code aspects of the building too. So we'd be in talks with the local building inspector, the local fire marshal to hash out some of the further details, you know. With regards to, a good example would be like the kitchen, you know, what type of hood, exhaust we need to provide there, you know, the health department and some of the different sanitation requirements that might be required. It's probably the most important phase in terms of narrowing down a lot of those aspects. Following that is construction documents, and that is where we really pull the project together into figuring out all the different details and everything. So at that point, there's not a crazy amount of deliberation to take place on the committee's part, but more so on our end to really pull it all together and detail everything to provide a complete package of documents. And as it says here, the entire document set would include civil plans, floor plans, elevations, reflected ceiling plans, door and room schedules, details, wall sections, kitchen equipment, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, well design, and structural engineering. And that would be submitted as a final PDF. Once we get past that, we go out to bid, and we will assist with the bidding process with regards to contractors and any inquiries they may have. Addendum would be issued if there are questions and we need to clarify a few things on the drawings. And we'd be helping manage all the pre-bid meetings and everything like that. And if it's also requested on the town's part, we can, and depending on the contractors that actually submit a bid, we could provide some guidance as to who might be the right general contractor to go with. We've worked with many different general contractors in the state, so if I'm looking over the bid packages that came in at the time of going out to bid and I see a few different names on there, I can go and consult with some different people in my office to see, like, hey, you worked with so-and-so construction, how do they seem, how do they work? And we can go ahead and provide a recommendation. With that being said, after we go out to bid and a general contractor's been selected, we can go into the construction administration phase, which includes as follows: up to 2 shop drawing reviews and approvals. So that means for every copy of a submittal that gets sent to us, we will review it up to 2 separate times. So that gives the general contractor to make a few amendments or corrections to what they are submitting as for that product. We will help provide any design modifications and requisition reviews, and we will help coordinate some virtual and on-site job meetings. So that includes 24 virtual meetings plus 24 visits to the actual site, as you can see there. In addition to that, we'll also help with any change order preparation and review that comes in, as well as punch list and contract closeouts. So with that being said, we kind of get down to the really important part of the proposal, which is referring to schedule and the fees. As you can see at the bottom, design development usually takes about 3 months or so to get through to an acceptable stage. And in addition to that, we also have to factor in land use approvals, getting through planning and zoning, and depending on where you are, conservation, so on and so forth. That usually takes around 30 to 60 days. And then on top of that, it's about a 60-day or 2-month period for construction documents. So you're roughly looking at 6 months or so before we would go out to bid. And then that bidding period is over the course of 4 to 8 weeks. So if this was to get approved right away and we were to go ahead and move forward with documentation and everything so far, the design is present, we would kind of be looking at roughly a fall construction start time. So essentially, you know, when you're thinking about that, if it's about a 12-month construction phase, you're probably looking at August of 2026. August, September 2026, barring that there's no hiccups in the land use approval phase.
Imagine there wouldn't be, because it's going the same place that one is now. Right?
Exactly.
So we shouldn't see a whole lot of hiccups at all there, right?
You wouldn't think.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we don't foresee anything like that on our end. You know, but taking all that into account, going down from schedule to the fixed fee schedule section, as you can see, the schematic design phase as built so far is on the right-hand side there. That's that first number. All of the remaining numbers below that is the corresponding fees for these respective phases. So these numbers were calculated based off of a budget of $9 million for construction costs. Now, with that being said, I understand that in the numbers that we've gone over in the past, those were a little bit higher, but we kind of base our number off of the idea of just hard costs and not the soft cost number that we presented in the
But
public
even
hearing.
so this is where I got a little confused, right?
Hmm.
Even your project hard costs, and trust me, I don't want to see this number go up. But at $780 a square foot, which we all kind of agreed to at the last meeting, was still a pretty good number,
Hmm.
right? Your project hard costs were $11 million
11.
on a 14,137 square foot building.
Hmm.
Plus, then there was another like 1.5 million or 150,000 per demo, right? 144.
Yeah.
So all in the construction, we'll call it, was about 11.1, 11.2, somewhere in there. So that's where that 9 million kind of threw me a little bit.
I was, sorry.
So I don't know what's driving David to come to a $9 million number.
Well, I mean, I can go ahead and relay the question back to him as to where that 9 million actually came from in the first place.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you take, let's take 9 million, right? Divide it by 14,137, which is what we've been using. $636 a square foot. That's even without soft cut, right? I mean, that for construction alone, that to me is very low
Yeah,
from what I see in the market today, for sure.
and I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So, we can, I can go ahead and relay that to Dave and see what he was thinking with regards to the $9 million number. Because I agree, as we had presented to you in the past, in that previous estimate, that number of the 780, it comes out to $11 million
Yeah,
or so.
it's right at 11,
Yeah.
11,026.
Yeah.
So that was a question I had, and I had thought I didn't know if you and David had discussed, and you would be able to talk to us on that or not. The other thing that I would like to see added into the proposal is that I want to have within both the design development and then post-bid, I want to have a VE review,
VE review?
right?
Okay.
Put into both.
Okay.
So we should give ourselves the opportunity to value engineer, right, when you're done with your design, before we go out to bid and say, hey, based on that high level estimate we've gotten from a company, if it's crazy, we need to cut. That was the time to do it, right, before we go out to bid. And then after it comes back to bid, as we see those numbers from the contractor, to
Okay.
be able to do it before we sign off on something.
Yeah, we can make sure that verbiage make sure that specifically value engineering review is put into the description of the design development phase and the construction
Yep.
documents phase. Not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, so let's just take these numbers as they are, right? I mean, we're, just to get through to where we have construction documents so that we're shovel ready, quote unquote, or, I mean, you're $400,000 that we need.
Yeah. I don't know where that's coming from.
Do some begging.
What's that?
Do some begging.
You're right, it's not the maintenance fund.
No. And I think we have, let me send this spreadsheet, I don't know if I still have it open. Maybe a balance of like 60,000 in there.
You probably have a balance, yeah.
From what we, out of the one, I think we
So,
started at
340.
122, yeah.
Well, we got surveyor costs. That'll become-
Well, right, so on top of this, what's not included in here are the things that have to happen. Surveying, the environmental study through Fuss and O'Neill. So those are all things that we know we have to do as part of steps 1 and 2 here already outside of this. So that 50 grand that we still have sitting there, whatever that number is, I think,
Count on it.
don't count on it, it's gonna be gone.
Well, I mean, we
If that's all
originally,
it's gonna be.
what?
If that's all it's gonna be.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So what we originally were talking about was a $14 million building. Now we're talking 11, or wherever it ends up being, right?
So,
So
well,
maybe some of these,
it's 11, but that doesn't include your soft costs. We're still at
Which was
14
another
million.
three,
Oh, we are
wasn't
still-
Yeah, it was
There's
2.5,
another-
yeah.
That's including
Yeah.
bonds and permitting,
Yeah.
general contractor fees.
Yeah. So when you go back and look at your actual soft costs,
14 plus.
right, so
It could be
here's
too.
the funny part, this number of David's is, I mean, I'll take it all day long at 588, because we had proposed 670, right, that was what we put in the presentation to the town, was 670. Then you start to get into your bonding and legal fees at 10, commissioning agent, which we would own at 40,000, builders and risk insurance on the town side, 40,000, testing and inspections, 20,000. Then the furniture, fixtures, technology, 250, utility connections, 25. We do have, now, this is one thing in here, we do have a contingency of about $1 million, right, on the project. So all goes well, right, that 14 million, we'll call it, or it actually worked out in this bid to be 13.4 is where it's at, or 13.341. Right, let's say you only spent half of your contingency, we are down around 13 million if you spent half of your contingency, but I do think with escalation and everything else, when you're talking about building a building in 26, I'd rather be giving money back to the town than going to ask for more, for sure. So, you know, you are asking still for 13.5 to 14 million dollars. So,
If those, hopefully it comes in at 11 million too,
correct.
if we're even coming in at that.
So,
better
We
than
could-
9. Talk to David.
yeah, exactly. I'll take the 9, exactly.
Tell them put that right.
Yeah, exactly. It's right here, it's in writing.
I mean, the reality is, you know, we could go ask for 223,000 or 250 and get through the design development. It gives us the ability to have plans that basically 50% that you could go out to somebody to bid, you know, to give you estimating off of at least.
It'll be a better estimate, right?
To test our, correct, to test our
Yeah.
theory that we are at 11 million, or no, hey, maybe we're at 10, or maybe, you know. So maybe that ask is more palatable, right, to start. While we're still doing the A1 surveys and we're still doing the environmental surveys and all of that continue to happen in parallel to prepare us. But, you know, if we, maybe
That's what we're gonna do.
if we get
Keep
this
going.
now to
going.
keep going, right, that's a 3-month process. So even if, by the time we get to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, we're gonna see this in, if we're lucky, February, March, right? So even if it's March, April, May, June gets us to budget season, right? We ask as part of the budget process for the rest of it.
And you need how much for something? 100?
Oh, for the demo? That's probably, yeah.
You're up to something.
Okay.
I'm not talking about anybody in this room. I'm talking about the kiddos up
That's
here.
It's good, because you're on video. Okay. So I guess the next step is, we need David to verify this 9. But look, if we're good, if Silver Petrostelli is saying, we're gonna do the project for this, that's great, right? We'll keep this number and run with it.
Yep.
I think we can, then, Irene, I guess the next steps are go to the Board of Selectmen, right, to start the process,
Yeah.
to talk through this and ask for funding.
Yeah.
So this will be
You need your
approved.
help on that one.
This will, so this would be approved in phases, essentially.
I'm thinking that it may be 2 Probably 2 phases with how we push for it,
Design
right?
development and then construction documents.
And beyond.
Yeah, okay. Understood.
Mhm.
So, in all honesty, I would throw the option out there, of funding it all at 100%.
We could ask.
We
yeah.
could do half if the 100%'s not doable.
Mhm.
Wouldn't hurt to at least throw it out there.
Grease the skids.
Exactly. We just get it started. You know, for all we know, they're willing to, yep, let's
Yeah.
do it all.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not, I mean, I wouldn't hide the total number, right? There's no way you do that. We're gonna have to talk about the total number.
No, but to ask for it and say, hey,
Yeah?
if there's hemming and hawing, okay, let's do half.
Mhm.
You know, maybe full amount might fly through.
Yeah. It's not like this isn't gonna be done.
No, it's gotta be done. I mean, that's the
It's
thing.
gotta be done and it's well known and it's well documented and
Yeah.
And the sooner we do
there's
it,
no
the
surprise
cheaper
to
it is.
anybody.
And the your point was that we originally told the town it was gonna be 670, and we're actually down,
Mhm.
you know, by less than
If
100,
we
but we're
readjust the
down.
price, it's gonna go up anyway.
Yeah, let's see, let's make sure from David what is driving this number, but yes, it's
Yeah.
down a little bit.
I can confirm that and we'll get back to you probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So the
Next step would be to get on the next Board of Selectmen meeting.
selectmen meeting is,
And then the Board of Finance after that, correct?
yeah. We have a board of selectmen meeting tomorrow, but it's not on the agenda for tomorrow. So, actually, the next one would be the 5th. And then the then Board of Finance meets on the 11th,
February?
I believe. Or no, they meet on the 10th.
Whatever that Monday is.
Monday, the
Yeah.
10th, yeah.
Okay.
I think I pretty much covered
Yeah.
all the different parts. Does anyone have any questions with regards to what's excluded on the third page, or?
We're not gonna do a GLL design, right? So that's a,
No need to worry about that then.
we said we'd do the two T2s, hazmat. Nope, there's no traffic signal design or engineering.
Yep.
We're staying where we are, permit and the town will waive the state fees, we know about that in. Can you guys give us estimated costs of the printing of the bid set?
Yeah.
So give us a cost for that and the conformance set.
Yeah, it's builds too.
And the as-built, yeah, I was just gonna say, right, or we build the, well, yeah,
Yeah, you can shop as builds.
yeah. But we can take them electronically though.
We go, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we don't need to
That's right.
print them.
Yeah.
But with the bid set going out, you probably want, we need at least a couple printed sets for those, for construction and stuff. But I think the as-builts, we want you to do, but we don't need them printed or anything.
Of course, yeah, that's
Clearly.
typically what we see on a project of this size.
Yeah, and even the bid documents going out, I'd give it to them electronically and let them print them, right? We got
Oh,
one
yeah,
printed
that's-
set
yeah.
here and for us and say, it's available for you to come view, but here's the PDFs of it, print it out.
So we've been going to, you probably know the name.
DocuSign?
They've been sending them there, if you, the
Yeah.
contractor pays for them, then they'll print them out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just do it electronically.
You know what to do it.
Yeah, I can't say I have any experience with it with regards to drawings, but
That's
I have
DocuSign.
been.
It's not DocuSign.
Not DocuSign?
It's not DocuSign. It's a different, it's another company.
Yeah. I
You
know.
put all the plans in, and they, if you want it, you call up, they print them out and send them to you.
Huh.
Yeah. You're paying for them.
Right. Yep.
Interesting.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody?
Any other questions or?
Nope.
Okay.
All right, so I guess next step, let's get on the Board of Finance, or Board of Selectmen agenda. See how that goes, then we get,
Advanced reprographics.
There you go.
yeah.
Thank you.
And then we can get on the, if the Board of Selectmen goes well, right, then we'll get on the Board of Finance
Okay. Sure.
agenda, has to get on their agenda.
And meanwhile, we'll get an update on the finance.
Yes.
Price.
We can do that via email.
So, yeah.
We'll get back to it
That
tomorrow.
but that's-
Yep.
that's good.
All right. So you guys will plan to attend the Board of Selectmen meeting on the 5th?
It's the morning. It's at 8
Oh,
o'clock
it's-
in the morning.
Oh, it's early in the morning on the
Yeah.
5th? Okay. 8.
That
What,
probably-
what day is that?
The 5th.
February?
Mhm. And then the Board of Finance on the 10th will be at night,
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
That is next week.
Mm,
Yeah.
It's already the first already. Actually, it feels like it's been a long month.
That's right. We haven't even hit March yet. March
Yeah.
is like the longest month in the entire planet.
January seems like it's long.
Yeah. It's gone fast though, I think.
Okay. Let me see what I can change, because I'm not supposed to be here that day. Okay. All right. Anything else? No bills to approve or anything, so,
All good.
all right, motion to adjourn?
So moved. Thank you for coming.
Of course, thank you very much.